Hello everyone. Hola a todos. This is Nadine Myron. Me llamo Nadine Myron. Welcome to another episode of One-on-One Spanish Tutor. Today we are going to work on Lección 12, Lesson 12. We're still on the STEM changing verbs. This time it's the group of verbs that have an E and need a change to I. And we're also going to learn the verb DECIR. Here are the verbs that we commonly used and that need a stem change from E to I. We have pedir, servir, elegir, sonreír, seguir, reír, vestir, reñir, medir, corregir, impedir, repetir, freír, y despedir. So we're going to follow the same rules of conjugation for stem changing verbs that we have been working with. The verbs will have an E. We will change it to I in all forms except nosotros. And all of the verbs in this group here, the ones that we commonly use, end in IR. So we're going to add the endings for IR verbs. This is how we conjugate them. We have the verb pedir. Pido, pides, pide, pedimos, piden. Servir, sirvo, sirves, sirve, servimos, sirven. Reír, río, ríes, ríe, reímos, ríen. Repetir, repito, repites, repite, repetimos, repiten. Here are the things that we need to remember for this group of verbs. First of all, we have the verb pedir, and this is something we really need to pay attention to. It is a very common mistake for students that are learning Spanish to try to translate this preposition for. So the verb pedir means to ask for in the sense of requesting, to request. So this preposition for is not going to be translated to Spanish. The meaning of the preposition for is already implied in the verb, so do not use it in Spanish. We would say, yo pido un café en el restaurante. The very common mistake is that students want to say, yo pido por un café. So do not use that word por after the verb pedir, please. Then we have the verb seguir, which means to continue, and the verb conseguir, which means to get. They follow the same rules of conjugation of changing the E to I in all persons except nosotros. But because of the spelling rules in Spanish of how to pronounce soft G's and hard G's, some of the forms will need to have an extra U, which is a silent U. So just for you to get familiar with the rule, when you have an E or an I next to a G, that produces a soft G sound. So this syllable we would say he, and this one here we would say he. But when the G is next to an A, an O, or a U, it produces a hard G sound. So we would say ga, go, gu. So we have he, he, but ga, go, gu. So the conjugation for the verb seguir is sigo, sigues, sigue, seguimos, siguen. Because the verb in the infinitive form has a hard G sound, we want to keep that hard G sound throughout the verb. And because of the rules of how to pronounce soft G's and hard G's, in order for this G to have a hard sound next to an E, we need to add a U. So that happens in all persons except for yo, because G and O already has a hard G sound. So this concept seems very difficult and confusing for students. Don't get too concerned with it. When you're saying the verb, when you're speaking, you don't have to think of the spelling. So when you're saying it, you just follow the usual rules for STEM changing verb and you will be fine. Here we have another option with the verb seguir, and it is that when you use it followed by a present participle, which in Spanish will most of the time end in ando or yendo, it expresses continuing action. Here in our sentence, José sigue trabajando en el proyecto. It means he continues working. So verbs that in Spanish end in ando or yendo sound, in English, it's the equivalent to ing verbs. And we also have another spelling change here when you have, for example, the verbs corregir, to correct, and elegir, to choose. And it is, again, because of the hard G and the soft G, this verb elegir has a soft G sound. So when you conjugate here elijo, eliges, elige, elegimos, eligen, if you left here your G, your original G, next to the O, you would read it eligo. Hard sound, because G's with O have a hard G sound. And we want to keep the soft sound of the G, just like in our infinitive form, elegir. So in order to do that, you have to change the G for a J. Again, if you're speaking, you don't even have to think of the spelling. It will just come out naturally. So don't get too concerned if this spelling rule is too confusing. You will get it with time. And you will be able to express it verbally just fine if you know the rules for STEM changing verbs, and you won't even have to think of how you spell it if you are talking. Here we have our sentences. Mi jefe viste con ropa formal. El mesero sirve la comida. Mis vecinos riñen seguido. Nosotros freímos el pollo en el sartén. María siempre sonríe. El maestro repite la lección. Yo pido comida china a veces. El niño elige sus juguetes para la Navidad. So with this group of verbs, we also learned the verb decir. Decir is a combination of a verb that needs GO ending for yo, and then it's also a STEM changing verb. So it changes E to I in all persons except nosotros, which remains regular as all other STEM changing verbs. So the conjugation is digo, dices, dice, decimos, dicen. Here we have our sentences. Yo nunca digo mentiras. Juan dice la verdad. Tú dices cosas muy interesantes. Mis amigos no dicen nada. And this is all for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out our next lesson, Lección 13, where we will continue with irregular verbs. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button and subscribe. You can always reach out to me with any questions you may have via my website at oneonOneSpanishTutor.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.